Hello and welcome to our podcast, The Ups and Downs of a Small Business Owner, where we hope to show you exactly what it's like to grow a business. Today, I'm here with Vincent Hovorka. How would you describe yourself?
Thank you very much, David, for having me on the podcast. Privileged to be here. So, how would I describe myself? If I would say one word, I would say I'm an action taker. This is how my one of my brands is called. It's Action Taker Coaching. So we are actually helping small business owners to grow, and I have another few businesses which I'm involved in. And basically, I really like being a business owner, entrepreneurship, the ups and downs of business. It's a lot of work, hard work, but it has also a good rewards.
So, if you mentioned Action Taker, that's one of your businesses.
Mhm.
When did you start that?
So the Action Taker, I started as 3.5 years ago, but it wasn't called Action Taker. It was called only basically Vincent Coach Ltd. It
Okay.
was the name of the business. So it was basically coaching business only on one-to-one basis. It was just me. But in 2024, I have invited a few more people. So it's now three of us doing the coaching. We have rebranded into Action Taker last year as well. And we are hosting a one-day event in London actually this year in November, which is Action Taker Summit. And it's for people who wants to grow their business. And it's a lot about mindset. So I believe, really follow Tony Robbins. 80% of your success is in your head, and 20% are the strategies and tactics. So we cover a lot of that on during that event. And I'm all about just bringing people together, but in person. Like I'm in here with you because I know you've been asked to come in person. And yes, it was. I live in Scotland. It was quite far, but I was like, oh, let's find a way. How can I come? Because I think the in-person interactions are always much better than online, and that's why I'm not doing those events, and I'm not doing also four masterminds over the year. Just like when I see these people are connecting, it's like they after have different ideas, they can grow the business together because they build the strong relationships. Because it's very difficult to build strong relationship if you don't meet those people.
So, if we go back 3 years then to when you started, before you started, so what did you do before you started Action Taker?
Sure. So before I started, I'm in business for past 13 years,
Yeah.
but I was also working on and off in a restaurant. So I used to be a chef. I found out I have a shellfish allergy, so I couldn't be chef anymore because there was a lot of cleaning mussels and shellfish. So I had to give up. So went to work as a waiter in a restaurant and after manager. And while I was doing that, I have opened my first business in UK, which was having my own food truck business. So I've done that for 4.5 years. I also opened my cafe, but when I opened the cafe, not in very good time in September 2019, so I only operate for like 6 months. Not the best months of the year in a cafe business, and I was shut by COVID, so obviously, so I lost a lot of money over there. And after I decided to start the property business. So from 2020, with my business partner Andre, we started investing in property, and we are doing it since 2020, so 5 years now. Yeah. So this is one of the businesses, and based on that, I hired a coach. It was from Tony Robbins, and I really liked what she was doing with me. And I'm like, oh, that's great. One day I would like to do that as well. And she's like, so why don't you? And I'm like, okay. So, but what I can teach people, I don't know anything. She's like, you know something about property, so you can start there. I'm like, oh, that's good. So that's how it started, kind of evolved. Yeah.
So, Action Taker isn't. It's not mostly about property. That's just essentially where you started, and you started
Yes.
expanding it out.
Yeah, exactly. So in the action taker, so before it was just helping people from with property business. So because I only was helping people with something that I already know, right? I cannot help people with something that I don't know. That's how I feel. I feel like I need to have the experience in that field. So it only started with a very short, like a property business when it comes to different property strategies, but not something which I didn't do, like development. I've never done that, so I wouldn't help people over there. With the mindset, yes, but not with the tools and tactics, right? And and as it grew, property business it's a business, so we had to learn a lot of skills how to operate as a business owners. So that's kind of evolved, and now we're helping mostly business owners. We have a lot of people who wants to learn about property, which is fine, but I really like the variety of business. Like there is somebody having a hair salon, there is somebody else who is having a digital business online, social media manager, because the skills, the tactics are transferable to any business. It's just about to apply them, because a lot of people focusing on two, three areas of the business, but there is around eight areas which to focus on to fully cover the growth, the systematization, and everything.
So was that the dream when you were younger? Did you always want to own property?
No, no, I didn't know about property at all. It was when I was around 19 years old, back in my country, in Czech Republic. I started working as a financial consultant, and they gave us a book to read, and it was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So this is a very good book for everybody who's starting in property business. And when I read it, I'm like, wow, it's amazing. So I want to do property as well. But it took me around, I think, 8 years since reading that book that I actually started, because I always thought I need money to buy a property because property is expensive. And nothing really changed in 8 years. I didn't have more money than the 8 years before, but I only changed my mindset. And it wasn't about, I need money. Yes, in property you need money, but nobody said the money needs to be yours. So it was a different question. How can I buy the property with none of my own money? And this is how it started. So I discovered it when I was around 19 years old, the property kind of world.
And if you could go back to your 19-year-old self now, would you do it all again?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. It was difficult for the first, I think, 2 years, 2.5 years in property business was very difficult. Even in that point that my wife would stop believing in that dream that it's going to happen. And she gave me some ultimatum, like something really needs to drastically change in the next, 6 months. Otherwise, find yourself a job, because I cannot live like that anymore because it's constant stress. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And when there was this push, I'm like, no. So I turned it around, and I have a three, daughters as well. So I have a big why. I'm doing all of that. So yeah, it's difficult. It's not easy journey. Not any business is easy journey. So that's why only one of 10 businesses succeeds in the period of 10 years. But yeah, if you have the right systems, and especially have a support, because when there are these low times, you need to be able to meet with some people. I'm not saying you need to have a coach who you pay, but it can be just people in a business from different business industry where you can meet them on a monthly basis at least. You can chat about those challenges, and they can be there for you because they've probably been through that road as well.
And yeah, almost just even a mentor or just somebody
Yeah.
you can talk to and release some of that stress, release some of that tension, and even just talk out.
Absolutely, yeah, it's very important. Or having a business partner, with the Action Taker brand, like we were having a meeting with my business partner who I invited to the business last year, and we were going through some challenges, thinking like what are we gonna do this year, and we have some to come to some conclusions, and we have done certain steps in order to avoid any further mistakes. And the thing is, when it was only in my head, I didn't do anything about it as much, but when I said it out loud to him, we kind of talked about it, and after we come up with some ideas with structure, how to plan it and how to actually execute it. But it was about talking it out loud with somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, makes a big difference.
Mhm.
Um, so I guess you had the business coaching, and then at that point you set up what's going through your head. So actually, I'm going to go back actually because you mentioned your wife said
Yeah.
you've got an ultimatum. What you're doing? What's going through your head at this point? Like, talk me through where you are.
Yeah. When she gave me that ultimatum,
Yes.
yeah, it was very difficult. I even have tears in my, yeah, tough question you're asking. Yeah. It was quite difficult because when there is your wife or somebody, your partner who believes in you, it's good. Every day is good, because even if the business is not going as you want, you always have that support of that person to lean on to, and it's all good. And you're like, yeah, you'll accomplish it, we'll do it, it'll be all good. But when suddenly that person starts doubting you, the closest person you have in the world, so that was a very difficult moment for me, and that's why this is what I needed, probably, because that gives me that push. I was like, no, you have for more, you need to do more, you need to find new ways, so you need to push through. So get up and start doing something differently or more to break through. Yeah, so yeah, it was a very challenging moment, yeah, emotionally for me. Yeah.
And then, so within 6 months, you hit your target. You
Yes,
achieved what you needed to achieve.
yes, yeah, I set myself a very difficult, like, ultimatum. If I don't, so basically, I need to bring a certain amount of money in a form of cash flow from the property business in order to move somewhere. Or if I don't, I'll go back to work. And I didn't want that. I didn't want to go back to work being an employee, because I never liked it. And so basically, it was a big kind of if I don't, because usually a lot of people they do like, oh, I'm gonna start this business, I'll grow. But if not, they don't have anything. If not, it's all good. They are like whatever. There is no big kind of punishment. And I think when there is this punishment written somewhere down, and you said it also out loud, it's not only in your head, but you said it to someone. So after you do more, yeah,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's essentially it's having somebody to hold you accountable
yeah,
because it's a very lonely place when
mm.
you're in a business on your own, and it's having somebody that kind of pulls you out of that and says, "Look, you need to do it. You need to hit this. You said you'd do this. You said you'd do that." So it's that accountability. I think is the key bit to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Coaching is a lot about accountability because when you have a coach, it's like the coach is not there to, he doesn't know more than you. He's there to ask you the right questions. He's there to support you. But especially when you work with someone and you say like, okay, I'll be working this week on this, then this and this task because these are the most important tasks for my business right now. And the next week you meet your coach. It's not like you are letting your coach down. You are letting yourself down. And a lot of my clients, I see that they do that the last day of the session, before the session. They even tell me like, I've just done it all the task yesterday. I was like, so would you do it if there would be no coaching session? It was like, no, I wouldn't do it. It was like because they wanted to prove me that they've done it, so that accountability is helping them to get further faster. Yeah.
And I mean, if we're going to talk about the coaching side of it, actually, you've got these top athletes who are the most elite people in their areas, but they still have coaches. They still need somebody to kind of push them to do certain things, to hold them accountable, to make sure that they're pushing themselves to what they can achieve. So yeah, absolutely, I think that's a huge part of it. So when I guess this also is in there, but when you have these people around you, you've got various business partners, your partner, your life partner, wife. How important have all these people been on you getting to where you are today?
It's very important. Yeah, super important. I think, especially my family, it's sometimes I would feel like I remember when, for example, they would go to our country, to Czech Republic, and we would go for I don't know holidays. But let's say they would stay a little bit longer, or they would go alone. I would stay back here and be like, okay, you are away. I'll work much harder. But sometimes it doesn't work that way because when they are not here, it's like you don't see that big why all the time, and it's like it's really pushing me, especially like my daughters and my wife to do it for them. But it kind of evolved of helping other people as well because I see like different families lives, and usually the struggle is money, which causing stress, which causing health problems and things like that. So when I see that I can help them to build the business a little bit better way, so they can actually enjoy themselves and not need to be working 70 hours a week on that business, they can actually reduce it but still have a better income. So it's really a good reason of doing that. And when it comes to another people like today I came with my business partner Andre. So it's really good to have somebody who you can talk to, or have another business partner in the Action Taker coaching. It's Lewis. It's my coach. So it's like we constantly speak. Yesterday we spoke. We've been with Andre on a different networking event. Lewis was with my client actually in a different networking event in Edinburgh. In the evening, we had a chat at 9 p.m. and he shared us with what went well there, how many business he secured for our new laundrette in Edinburgh. We shared with him what we've done in this networking event in Leeds on a property catalyst club, what everything happened. So it was a great sharing. And I was like, yeah, so wow, wow, wow. So many things happen, and you have with people to share it, and it's great. You see, like you don't need to be there in the room, and I know that business is being made even now. Like I know that our staff is dealing with guests, with our Airbnbs and things like that, and money is being made, and I can shoot the podcast with you in here. So the people are the key to everything. So don't do it alone.
But have you? So you've got lots of key people around you. You've
Mm.
got lots of key people you work with. But have you ever still felt lonely?
There are moments I think sometimes when you feel like usually I think it's when something's not going right and something's going wrong and you're like oh shit and you are all alone for everything. It seems like it, but only I think it only seems like I mean if you have those people around you until you share it with them. If you leave it inside of you, you will feel that way. But if you just take that leap, and it doesn't need to be business partner, it can be just your friend, take him for a beer or whatever, and just share it openly with that what's going on in your life or with your parents. It's not about they don't need to give you advice, but it's just saying it out loud and they will just listen. That's all what you need to do in order to not feel lonely because you are sharing with someone. So I don't feel lonely too much, to be honest, as a business owner. I have good people around. I share a lot, so I don't mind to share. So,
That's good. That's
yeah.
good because it's very easy to kind of just lock everything up, go inside your own head, and not to let it all out. Doing that is a huge relief. So if we go over the course of all the businesses, what has been your biggest failure?
Biggest failure, I think, I'm not sure. On one hand, I would say it might be a failure, but on the other hand, I know it's something which is important. Sometimes I don't think too much about certain thing, and I just go for it. That's why the brand action taker. And I think there are occasions where I need to slow down and I need to think a little bit more or chat with someone about it, do a little bit more preparation for certain things. I think there are things in business where you need to just go for it and push and just do, but there are also tasks in the business where you need to think about it a little bit more and maybe not go for it as much and not push as hard. So, for example, when uh, when it comes to different, like I spent so much money in training courses and personal development, business development. I mean, over £60,000 in the past 3 years, a lot of money, and for me at least. And usually when I see that there is another level where I can go and something else I can, buy and learn, I'm like, okay, let's go, let's do it. Even though, let's say, the finances on the business account doesn't support it just yet, I'm like, yeah, don't worry, we'll just make it. Let's go, let's sign up, we'll figure it out. And sometimes I need to slow down with those things and just say to myself like, okay, with the things that I already know, I should be able to get this and this and this point. This can wait for a year. This is not gonna go anywhere. But usually I'm in that state like, let's do it. Let's figure out the way. And I think with let's say with the finances, I need to slow down because it's important in business. And I'm very good with bringing business and meeting people and networking. But when it comes to after checking the finances and doing this thing, so I think I need to kind of learn more about that and not be as harsh and as quick on certain things. So I think the failure for me would be slowing down in certain points.
Is there any specific time that's happened, or just in general?
Yeah, there'll be definitely multiple specific times when that happened. I'm just trying to think. Will be recently. Recently, actually, it was my business partner, but obviously it was our both decision. Again, like we are going for an event, which is actually over the weekend, this weekend. So that's why we are also in London. And we decided to sign up with that person to go for this event, and including a little bit of coaching with him, but not very much coaching, so only half an hour. That's all. And that was $10,000
Wow.
for 2 days event and half an hour coaching and a little bit of some online audios. Uh, because it's important what they are teaching, but I don't know if we probably supposed to go for it at that stage, right? We signed up like 4 months ago or something like that. I don't know if it was the right decision, but I think I'm not gonna know until the weekend will pass what I'm gonna learn, and maybe we'll open up another opportunities because usually it's like that happens. But yeah, I don't know. So that was maybe a harsh kind of decision in that moment. Hard to say because it might bring hundred thousands of dollars or
Yeah.
pounds. So yeah,
So on the flip then of that, what's been your biggest success?
biggest success. I mean, so firstly, I would say that's definitely my family and my kids. So that's my number one value. So they are my biggest success and they are amazing. But if I would be speaking about business, so I think when it comes to the coaching business, I don't know if there is a one big one, but it's about seeing the clients who actually are doing things because you have a clients you sign up and they think they are doing something but they are not. So I'm not there to support them, but if they still need to do the work. But I think I really like seeing the growth of my clients, how they are growing. So it makes me very happy. And also another big success is I really like speaking, like a public speaking. I'm a speaker, so I did a lot of also training for that. And last year I did speak 17 times. I calculated on stage, and it's not that much if you are a speaker, but it was my first year where I was really kind of developing that a little bit more and more. to be better, to test different materials, test new things. And I really enjoy it to be speaking on stage. That's why I also host my own event, and because you can help a lot of people in the same time. Because one-to-one coaching is great, it's powerful, but the thing is, I don't want to coach more than 5 people at the same time. I have another things to do, so I'm very limited of how many people I can personally help. Yeah, I have another 2 coaches, but they are still limited with the time. But when it comes to speaking an event, there can be 200 people in the room, so 200 people can have a takeaways at the same time. So, yeah.
So when you first did one of these events where you were speaking, was that not scary, standing up on stage, looking out and seeing that?
Yeah, it was scary. Yeah, of course, yeah. It's always scary. Even now, like I'm pretty good in improvisation. I don't do that much prep for my talks. I just have a little bit of bullet points and I just go, because even you speak about something what you know, you don't need that much prep. But it's even now, like I've been, remember the last time I've been in Holland, and they just for half an hour kind of talk, and I've been there. I know they'll introduce me in 3 minutes. I was just sitting there, and suddenly I know that I'm coming on my turn. Suddenly my heartbeat was just starting going up. What's going on? I know I can deliver a good speech, so why I'm so nervous? And before you say maybe the first sentence or something, it's kind of like sometimes a bit shaky or nervous. But yeah, so yeah, it's definitely a challenge every single time. Yeah.
So it doesn't actually get easier, you just kind of get...
I mean, I think it gets easier, but I think it's this first maybe minute on stage before you say the first few things. Once you say that, and you kind of relax, and there are also certain techniques what you want to do before you go on stage, like a little bit of breathing exercise. Calming yourself down, so you are actually not speaking too fast, and you don't run out of breath, which happens. So a lot of these things which I didn't know before, so I'm trying to be more prepared for them right now. Yeah, but it's always still I'm not as professional speaker yet, so it's still scary. Yeah.
Do you watch back your talks?
Sometimes, yeah, I do work with a voice coach. Not for a while now. I didn't have a session with her, but that's why I also when I go somewhere, I film it. I get a mic also close by, and after I show it to the voice coach, so she can give me feedback, and we can work on that, so I can get better. I don't really like to still see and listen myself. It's always weird to listen to my own voice.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, but I don't know. But yeah, it's important. I think for being better. Yeah.
Yeah, you can critique yourself, you can give yourself feedback, you can kind of, and it's stuff that you wouldn't notice if you were just doing it yourself and you move on and you kind of forget
No.
about it. So actually having that recording is, I think, really quite useful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There is this one guy, I did some training with him, Vin Jiang. He is a communication expert. He's based in Australia. And we've done his courses like Stage Academy, something like that. And he's having this thing where you record yourself, but firstly, you are just hearing yourself, where you don't see, you look for yourself, so you are just trying to use your ears to see how you sound. After you only look at yourself, but you don't listen, and after you transcribe your script into this, and you have to check for all the mistakes, and after you are checking that, so there are like 3 things where you need to check in order to get better, and it's a good exercise to try if you want to speak. Yeah.
But that was something I did. So doing this podcast and doing the editing as well, I said the word so 130 times in one episode.
Yeah.
So in the space of an hour, I've said the word so 130 times, and it was easy enough to edit it out. But actually, I've tried to kind of improve myself and just not to use it and use other words and things like that.
Yeah, I had the same when I was shooting YouTube video, and my editor came to me and was like, "You have said a word like 120 times as well in 10 minutes YouTube video or 20 minutes YouTube video." I'm like, "Really?" And after I listened, I'm like, "Oh, okay." So also being more careful with that and more cautious, and I think a pause is great. To a lot of people, they think they need to fill up the pause, so that's after there's like so because you are thinking, but instead of saying the so, we can be like, what's the next thing you would like to speak about, and just slow down and just think, and after just say the question, and it really helps the slowing down and the pause. Yeah.
Exactly that. As you say, the pause. That's what I've learned is just pause. Don't. I think naturally as humans we can't leave a space. We don't like silence, so we fill it with or so. If we look at, I guess, let's go back to some of the previous stuff that you've done. At what point did you think this isn't going to work, or did you think this isn't going to work ever?
Business?
Yes.
Never thought of that. I always knew I'll make it work. Yeah, I adopted some beliefs where I'll find a way or I'll make one. So even if it's difficult at times, I know I'm gonna go through it and I'm not gonna give up. So I have this belief that there is a way to accomplish anything I want in life, and I can live extraordinary life on my terms. And even if it's difficult at times, I'll push through it and I'll find a new way. I'll find a better way. I'll adapt and I'll make it work. So I never had that belief.
Good, good. And I know you've already mentioned the finances, so we'll come back round to the finances because that's probably one of my passions. Have you? How important is it for you to know the numbers?
That's the thing. Not much. Not that much important. For me, it's only like I want to live a life on my terms. So I'm with my family. We live in a nice house, which I don't own. We rent in a beautiful countryside in Scotland. We go on holidays. We travel. We can do whatever we want. We are doing homeschooling. My kids they don't go to school. They go to certain classes. I just want to be covered and be able to pay the life I want. I want finances for that, and anything above that, I'm not like thinking of being millionaire or billionaire. I'm not thinking that much about it because for me it's important what I can do with it, not the numbers as much. And it's again like the event when I'm doing the Action Taker Summit. I've done a lot of events even in the past, like 1 day event, 3 days event, and I even have done them for free, just to people come. But there is a problem if people don't pay, they don't come because they are not taking it seriously. So I need to charge money. But if you could only do those things and help people and have a great life, that's awesome. But unfortunately, we don't live in that world, so there are money involved, and they need to be dealt with. Uh, all the time. It's just finding the balance between that. And yeah, I don't need to drive a fast cars or anything like that. I don't care about it. So I just want to be happy.
So, something I say quite a lot is when you find you're enough. So once you've got enough that you can live that lifestyle that you want to live and you can be comfortable, it changes everything. You're no longer driving for more. You don't want to be a millionaire, as you've said. You don't want all of that flashy stuff. You're just content with your enough.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So at the moment, it's more about seeing the other people to grow, the clients, the people who comes out on our mastermind or Action Taker Summit, to see them grow, because this is much more rewarding than the money. When I have a client and he'll leave me nice testimonial and he'll come to me and it's like, Vincent, without you, I couldn't do it. Thank you very much. That's much more than he paid me for coaching. So this is really good. Yeah, I think it's just having what you need. I think a lot of people, they are just, and it doesn't need to be business people. I see that also in employees, they are pushed to get a new car because somebody else has a new car, and they're just getting further and further into that trap of owning things which they don't actually own them. Or even I see that in the properties, people like, yeah, I want to buy my house because I want to own my house. Yeah, you don't own your house for 30 years. Banks owns it until you pay it off, and 50% of marriages get broken. So you never own the house. And a lot of people, they don't realize it. I don't see that many people, they actually own the house outright. Everybody owns with the mortgage, or they own the cars with the lease. And it's okay for a certain point. But the thing is, they are telling me like, yeah, you rent, but I own. I was like, yeah, but bank still owns it. You don't. You only put 10%. And people think like they have that feeling, but it's only the trap being in here, and they are stuck. And after, when they are like, I would like to move, I heard it often, I would like to move somewhere else, but I have this mortgage, I have this house, and it's not that easy now. I can move very easily. I can just rent a house somewhere else and just put this back. And I have more freedom. So for me, it's about freedom, being free, and not being. And the thing is with our business, which we have, where my business partner can talk about it. Our where to stay apartments is a service accommodation business where we provide management of Airbnbs. So with this business, we managed to build 7 figures, and it's a great business, which brings us the life what we want. Again, now we are having the challenges because there is new legislation in Scotland, and a lot of these properties are crashing down because we cannot operate them. So even though it was good for a while, we need to adapt now newly and find new ways. So it's like in business, sometimes something that can go very nicely for a while, and after new legislation, something else is coming, something new, we need to adapt. So yeah.
Okay, so I guess you mentioned that legislation and that change that's coming in. Do you ever at some point just kind of go, well, that's going to stop the business. I need to walk away because that's ruined everything that I wanted to do.
Hmm. Yeah. So exactly. So this is the something what happened. Is the legislation came to Scotland regarding that business, and we can be crying about it and say like it's gonna all go to somewhere, and we're not gonna have 70% of income is gonna get lost. And yes, and this is what is happening. Slowly, it's reducing that. But instead of thinking of let's close the business, let's not do it anymore. We are finding the ways how to do it and how to do it even better. So what did we do right? What did we do wrong? And just maybe sit down and pivot. And we have come up with new ideas how we can take this business to the next level and now to actually grow it exponentially. So in the 3 years we grow it to 50 properties managed, and now we lost some. We have around 40, but this year we want to grow from 40 to 1,000 units. And
Wow.
the only reason why I know we can do it, I don't know if we'll accomplish it to 1,000, but even if we accomplish it to 500, the only reason why I'm starting thinking about how to get to 1,000 is because of the legislation which has happened in Scotland, because it gave me new thinking about things, and I was like, okay, we need to come up with a new offer, a new irresistible offer. What we will be doing, and that pivotal moment helped us to find new and better goals and actually ways how to accomplish them, and now we are working toward.
So something I talk about a lot as well is AI,
Hmm.
and AI I think is it's around it. There's a lot going on. Have you seen it impact you at all? Do you use it? What's your thoughts on AI?
Sure. So I I don't know that much about it myself. I use just basic tools like ChatGPT, which helps a lot, save me a lot of time, and also my team. Especially, I'm not UK obviously born. I'm from Czech Republic, so checking for my English, making better sentences. Even for I know my team is using it also for a website. So I think this tool we are using quite a lot, and I know about another tools, but I'm not using them that much yet. And I believe that we should really learn to adapt and learn them faster than what we are doing right now, because it's important. It's just, I believe, like anything else, like internet started, some people adopted faster, some people slower, but whoever adopted faster has the advantage in that market. I'm lucky that I have one member of the team in the Action Taker, which is Lewis, and he's really into technology and researching new things. We are always trying to get better with the new softwares, and he's there researching those things. And it's just finding the right thing which is going to help us. At the moment, actually, I'm using a Motion, a calendar. Recently, I joined, I think, 2 months ago, and it's amazing. It will help me to do more in a much shorter period of time, because I'm not even forgetting that much. Tasks isn't being made. If I didn't make that task that day, Motion will move it to another slot which is available, not blocking my calendars for bookings. It's really helping. I can schedule another task for my team. It's all there. Can check on them. Really good tool. I'm really pleased with that. I don't know how much Slack is powered by AI as well. Also, really useful tool which we are using. So yeah, but I would definitely want to adapt more AI tools. Yeah, in the future. Yeah.
And one thing you mentioned, like coming from Czech Republic,
Hmm.
like I find this fascinating in itself. Like I've managed to move 5 miles up the road from where I was born. So for me to say about that, I find it crazy. Like you kind of move from one country to another. It's a whole different setup. Everything is done differently. Society is different. Like
Oh
everything.
yeah.
Like and it's also, I guess, coming to the UK. Like what people like in the UK, we do things differently. Like understanding the language. How hard has that been, as well as running a business?
Yeah, so quite difficult at the start. I thought I know English a little bit from my school, but when I came in here, I found that I don't. Especially speaking was quite difficult because I was shy to speak and not make mistakes, as we are taught at school, don't make mistakes. And especially I moved to Scotland, so
That's another
in
language.
a pair of where people was like, "Hey, Scottish," and I'm like, "Oh my God, what's that? I don't understand." So it was quite challenging. Luckily, Scottish people are very nice. So for that point, regarding the people, the culture was very good. But what really helped me with my language was becoming a waiter. so I had to speak much more in front of people. I learned so quickly new words, and after, I have to say, not being shy. So after the job, I would go with another team members. We would go for a pint, have a few beers, and suddenly I could speak, or at least I feel confident. So I was trying more to speak more, and that will help me. I don't drink actually anymore, but that was good. Regarding the culture of the people, actually, I speak about it sometimes a little bit on stage. UK people are very, they are very polite, right? And they go around the bush before they will say something what you want to say. But here in Czech Republic, we don't. We say it as it is. We say it very direct. And I'm like that on stage, and I'm like that with my clients. And when I'm speaking on stage, and there are UK people, they are like, "Oh, Vincent, it was too much. It's too direct. Like, I was like, yeah, it's me. You're not gonna change me. It's me. I want to be authentic. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't care. But I just say it how it is. And some people, UK people, they don't like it because usually they don't like it because it triggered something in them which they know it's right, and they don't want to hear that. But somebody from UK, they would come to me and was like, "Yeah, yeah, Vincent, that was a good talk. I really enjoyed it." But in the back, they might think differently, but they don't say it to me, to my face, and I'm like, "How is that going to help me? Rather tell me what you really think, because it's not helping me." So it's a very different approach with people in here. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you essentially you've just kind of accepted that and you've gone that's how you work, but I'm not gonna adopt it essentially.
Yeah, yeah. So important is when I speak. So I add a little bit different styles. So I'm sometimes a little bit more energetic. Sometimes I go a little bit quieter, so I can connect with audience. Obviously, I'm not gonna be doing just one thing, but I'll be direct, and I can adapt. I can not be as much. It's okay. But the thing is, I really want to be authentic, and I really want to be me. So either there'll be people who likes me for that, and there'll be people who don't gonna like me for that, which is okay. I'm not here to be loved by everybody, which is fine. But I want to be me. Yeah. So I got suggestions for people before, like, yeah, maybe you can soften it a little bit more. No, I want you to do these things.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good way of doing it, and I think I've learnt that over the years to try and be more direct and less fluffy. Okay, so towards the end of the podcast, we do these cards. I don't know if you've seen them before, or Diary of a CEO.
Yeah, I know Diary of a CEO, obviously, but I've never seen the cards.
Yes, so Stephen Bartlett produced a load of cards, and at the end, we basically use one.
Mhm.
So we pick one each at random,
Mhm.
and we ask each other the question.
Oh, very good.
So I'll let you go first.
Okay, can I ask you?
Yes.
What is the greatest wealth in your life?
Greatest wealth in my life. So I would say it is family. I'm very lucky to have a lot of loving family around. I've got a 2-year-old daughter who, over the last 2 years, since she was born, they've always been around. They've always been so supportive. That's my brother, his partner, my other brother and his partner, my dad, my mum, and even my wife's parents and family. They've all been there on different days. They'll all take her out. If we're struggling, they'll take her for a day, they'll take her for an evening. And it's been incredible. So I would say the best thing I've got is my family. So this one is tell me something you have never told anyone before.
Phew, I don't know. I tell quite a lot of things to my wife.
I mean that could be the one exception.
Yeah, I have something, but I think maybe two or three people knows. I don't know. So when I was younger, maybe I was what, like 17, 18, I used to have a girlfriend. We've been together for almost 5 years, and it was a very difficult relationship, well, toxic, I would say, on that relationship. And there were times definitely on my life where I just wanted to end the life when I was young, and yeah, and it was just like there was moments where I was really wanted to do it. I didn't do it. Was in obviously teenage years, so I know that people who obviously think that way. And only reason I didn't do it is that I don't know why actually we had that conversation, but with my mom we had a conversation once when I was younger, maybe a few years ago, and she asked me like, promise me that you're never gonna take your life or anything like that, stupid, because, and I promised to her, And when I had these thoughts, I remember the promise. So I was like, no, I'm never gonna do it because it's selfish. Obviously, it could, solve my issues, but I'm gonna bring a lot of other issues for someone else. So I think that might be something that I didn't tell that many people.
Wow. I mean, that's quite a thing to happen. Pretty incredible that your mum kind of made you promise that beforehand, which actually came to light at the time it was needed.
Yeah, I don't even know why we talked about it with my mom before. I don't remember the occasion, but I remember the promise. I told my wife, no, my wife, my mom, years later. I told her about that this is what I wanted to do, but I didn't do because of the promise.
Did she say anything at the time? Or
She was glad. Yeah,
yeah,
I think I said that only to my wife. Nobody knows.
yeah. I
Now
mean,
everybody knows.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm glad we're not there now. I'm
No,
glad
no,
you're
no. We are
in a
not.
good position now.
Yeah, I think it's this teenage brain sometimes. Like you think like the world is crashing on you and there's no other options. And I think it comes to like what we spoke about today. It's about not sharing it out loud with anybody, just keeping it inside and not sharing with these problems which are happening. When you are a teenager, sometimes I remember I didn't want to share. I just let it all inside of me. And
Yeah,
that caused another issues, having a lot of acne, very severe acne and things like that, because I was everything holding inside. And this is how after these health issues go to world, because there is nowhere else to go than through skin, because I didn't want to go through my throat and to say it out loud, so it would go through skin to show there is something going inside of me which needs to be let go, but I didn't want to let go, so that also causes a skin issue. Yeah?
is there anything that I haven't asked you that you expected me to ask you today?
No, I didn't have any expectations what you can ask me, so I'm all happy.
Well, brilliant. We'll close it there. Thank you very much for coming on. It's been quite a journey, and we'll look forward to following you going forwards.